it on?
It is.
Is this thing on?
It's on.
Brandon McCatherine here, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in Decatur, Alabama. I'm going to address some things about the Kung Fu move, some questions that you guys had. All right, so first and foremost, what is the Kung Fu move? Josh, could I use you?
Yes.
Is that okay? What is the Kung Fu move? The Kung Fu move is what we're going to do in the rubber guard to get the foot all the way in front of the face. So let's just say I've already gotten myself out here to this chill dog position. I've secured a nice strong angle. A lot of people try to just go, just, you know, don't let me do it there. And they wiggle and push, and they can't make it happen. The Kung Fu move is what we use to get the foot all the way to the front there. So it's not just the leg, the arm on this side of the head. It's the foot all the way here, right? So here's what we're going to do. I want to use my elbow, my forearm, to pry his head away from me and make a little bit of space here, right? When I do that, I'm going to slide down to the end of my ankle, and then I'm going to roll. And then watch these toes. You ready? So I put the toes through the hole. That's the trick. And now I give it the old iron palm strike there. Whack, whack. All right. So here, open the elbow out. Don't just go and try to yank your foot over in front of his face. That would make things snap inside my body. I want to open up some space first and then slide out towards the end of my ankle. Now I can open, keep my hand connected, and then the toes is the final trick. I'll slide them through the hole there. Make sense? So that's the one that I use to get to Jew Claw, to the omoplata. The one that I do to get to the gogoplata is actually a little different, right? So right here, when I want to make my move, I do the same thing here and here. But now, as soon as I go to run my elbow to the outside, I go and jump over his head with this hand, and then I slide through the hole. So I end up in this position for just a second, and then I just pass right to my hand. And that's how I get to the go-go. And then I go nice straight ballerina foot here, and I straighten my arm. Oh, sorry, I didn't get to the straightened foot yet. But I'm going to do that with my foot as I straighten my arm. It's very brutal stuff. All right. So the first one is out, out, and shoving through. So I pull myself out towards Jew Claw. The second one has an extra movement with it. Out, out. So I'm here. And then as this goes, as my toes peek through the hole here, and pass them right into my hand. And then step on the gas and give it to him. So here's a little drill for you. I'm going to give you guys some homework, some things to do that are going to make your Kung Fu move better. You got to sit at home and watch Ally McBeal for 2 straight seasons. And you just practice your rubber guard move. See how I open my elbow out and I run my toes through the hole and I stay connected the whole time. So that eventually it just becomes like second nature. I tried to get too fast. I got my thumb caught in my tape. So that's the idea there. Constantly taking note of where my toes and my foot are through this thing. So that little move is not just a Kung Fu move with my hand, it's a Kung Fu move with my foot too. So this is here and this is here. Make sense? Another thing I like to do is I use that crowbar. And to tell you the truth, I use that more than I use the Kung Fu move. So regardless of the position that I have with my foot here, we'll just assume that we're in Show Dog. I like to bring this arm across and jam it into his neck because it gives me some good spacing, right? The problem with it is it gives him a little bit more of a window than the Kung Fu move does. But if I'm good with my hips and I'm aware of that opportunity, then I don't feel like it's that big of a deal, right? So instead of going here, maybe I don't have the flexibility for that, right? Or maybe he's really causing me a problem by pressing in here. If he's pressing in, you better be pretty flexible to get on your back and start pulling your toes up to your nose there. So instead, I'm gonna go out and in, and now I'm gonna press his head away as I get onto my hip more. And now as that space opens and I get my foot to this side of his head, I wanna drive my knee down to the ground. See how that makes him wanna roll already. Puts a lot of extra pressure on his shoulder, right? So with the crowbar, it's here and push him away and start to straighten your foot at the same time, driving your knee to the ground here. So the closer my knee gets to the ground, the heavier this is on his shoulder, which makes it incredibly difficult for him to posture. Josh, can you posture?
Nope.
That was an excellent noise. I was really pleased with that. All right.
Squeal like a piggy.
You got a pretty mouth, boy. All right, here, and immediately, boom, here and here. And that can get me out towards Jew Claw, or if he tries to come back in, then that can get me into some of these kind of games here. I can dig underneath, or maybe even get into my go-go clinch right there, which is some of our newer things that we've been doing in the old 10th Planet system. All right, so anyway, just a couple of Go-Go Plata and Kung Fu move tips, thoughts, etc. We're gonna play a little bit in here. I'm just gonna play from my rubber guard, and we'll spar live from that position. Just do some positional sparring and maybe, excuse me, give you guys some things to look at and some ideas.